This is Dabu7 with an earthquake update. This January 7th, 2016. And we are at the global incident map. And as you can see here, not a lot of massive earthquakes across the globe. The biggest we've seen here recently was in the India area. And as you can see, we have activity kicking up here on these ridge lines. Now, I want to talk about that here in just a second. But I want to start off here talking about the swarms in Oklahoma. As you can see, a magnitude 4. We've seen plenty of those here in the past few months because these earthquakes have gotten larger and larger. All the way up to a 4.8. This is about to crack the magnitude 5 range. And this is something people need to pay attention to. Over time, these quakes have crept from 1s and 2s up to 3s into the 4s, which is now common, and on the doorstep of magnitude 5 quakes. They are at a shallow depth, and these are all being generated primarily by fracking. You will also notice that we have another swarm going on Northern California. And with the beginning of this swarm here in the past few hours, the Southern California swarms have pretty much stopped. That's something to keep an eye on. And in terms of these ridges, in the ridge lines here that I was talking about, these are areas in the last video that I was pointing out. Also, this ridge line, and you can't tell because they fell off the map, but in the past 48 hours, we've seen some magnitude 5 quakes down here in this area. That is a relief of pressure. When you don't see those quakes, that's when the bigger ones begin to pop off. We've seen that happen all the way up into the Gulf of California, through Mexico, and all the way down here into this area. The last place we've seen really large quakes is right here in this cut down here by Chile, Peru. They have constant swarms themselves down here. But when I see these quakes starting to pick up on the ridge line, all the way down here into the Ascension Island area, when you see this, oftentimes you start to see other quakes. Within a 12-hour period, you're going to see some kind of quake activity in an odd spot that's not associated with these swarms. Usually hitting on these ridges, it can stretch from here, start off in here, and run all the way down toward Easter Island, and then right back up this ridge all the way up to Iceland. And you'll notice, I mean, if you don't have the terrain on, you're not going to be able to get a bead on what's happening here. You'll just see the quakes hitting. But once you look at where they're hitting, you start to see it's usually along these ridge lines. Never like out in the flats. Hardly ever. So, something to keep in mind here. I just wanted to do an update here on the quakes because this is the largest quake we've seen in Oklahoma in some time. And although these effects primarily are coming from the fracking, it does sit right here on the edge of this old craton plate that I've spoke about before. Dutch covers it again here in this piece. I'll leave a link so you guys can read into it. But stretching from Jersey down through Tennessee, right through the heart of the New Madrid Fault, and up through here. This is where we see a lot of the activity. It's always centered in this fashion. We rarely see a lot of quakes like down here. We rarely see quakes on the brim. And we haven't seen a significant quake since the Virginia quake that a lot of people felt over here on the East Coast when it happened. But I'm going to leave a link so you guys can read more into this. Keep you guys posted with more info as I come across it. Just a look at recent quake activity and the biggest quake in years to strike here. And at the same time, we have a swarm popping up about the same time, right off the West Coast, in a critical spot, in my opinion, right here near Eureka, because it's right here at this cut. It shows that it's being there's movement going on, and this is a very sharp cut where this all comes in here into Northern California. I'll keep an eye on this stuff, keep you guys posted as I see more earthquake activity. Till next time, this has been Dabu7.